Hey everybody, Sira Senpai here, and today we're talking about Mushoku Tensei Episode 8. And just to start us off, just get into it, we see Rudy in the library studying. We also see that he mentions that he now has grown out full hair, which to him shows that he's growing properly and healthy. Good thing. After that, we switch over to Ghislaine and Eris, who are sparring outside, just going at it. They're just going high-speed fighting that we haven't seen before yet. And now we also learn that Eris is now an advanced tier in the Sword God style, which is pretty amazing, considering the fact that Paul is advanced tier in Sword God style too and whatnot. And usually, like they said earlier, like I talked about earlier in a few past episodes, that in order to reach advanced tier, usually it takes some people 10 years, like 10 years just to reach advanced tier. And the fact that she reaches it when she's 12, she's a great swordswoman. That's all I'm gonna say. Honestly, that's all I'm gonna say. Rudy shouldn't get sad about it, even though he said that he sees a gap in talent. At the end of the day, Rudy's a mage, and she's a swordsman. You can't really compare it in a sense, you know. Like Rudy can do magic at an amazing rate; he's like a master magician, and Eris can't do magic; she can only do beginner tier. Rudy can't do what she can do as a swordsman, but she can. So they balance each other out, you know. If they form a party or anything. Like I said last episode, Ghislaine would be like the tank, she would be a DPS, and Rudy would be the backline support attack DPS. So it all balances out really well. After that, Rudy mentions that the crystal singularity thingy in the sky is growing. And after that, he doesn't remark it because, like Sora said last episode, better to think that it's something good than something bad and just forget about it. Especially since it's been there for like the last few years, I think. So yeah. Now I'm going to talk about the light novel portion where we talk about basically what languages he's learning or learned. So far he knows human tongue, basic human language there. He now knows demon god tongue, beast god tongue, and fighting god tongue. So now he knows 4 languages in total. He sadly can't learn sky god tongue or sea god tongue, mainly because according to Rudy, 1, there's no one around him that can teach him like Elaine could, and 2, there's no literature around him that to teach him. Since there's no literature, there's nothing for him to compare it to. So he remarks that sadly he can't learn it, but he's still happy they managed to learn 4 languages. And honestly, he should be. That's 4 languages in 2 years now? Because he's only been here for 2 years now, so yeah. After that, we also get an update out of Rudy's swordsmanship as well. He is now almost reaching intermediate tier, which might not be as impressive as Eris, but still pretty impressive because remember, he's a mage. He doesn't have to learn sword styles at all. He's only learning it because it'll help him on his footing when he's in a battle or anything. It'll just help him overall whenever he's in combat. And pretty good that when he reaches intermediate tier, I think he should, keep training as usual, but more focus on magic because that balance will help him out a lot more. After that, he talks about how his magic might be improving. However, he doesn't know because he says it might be because in the light novel he talks about how he's making figures and selling them. And every time he keeps making more and more figures, they keep getting more and more detailed. So he thinks it's improving. However, he remarks earlier in the series, he says that he's hit a wall. He can't really go past this wall. So he's just waiting until he gets to the University of Renoa so he can learn way better magic at that point. And good idea, honestly. I mean, seriously. After that, he remarks how 10 years have passed now since he was born in this world. And he gets emotional because, imagine that. 10 years now. Being reborn, growing up, and just living a second life. So it makes sense why he's emotional. And after this, we get to, after this light novel scene, now we get to the anime scene that coincides with the light novel where Rudy walks around and sees, the whole manor is restless. Rudy's, walking around, I wonder what's happening. And in the light novel, he talks about how he thinks maybe someone important coming, like maybe a noble, Eris's fiance, but then he just starts laughing yeah, it's not gonna happen. And then he starts talking about. Then he sees Eris and the maid walking around. He's like, let me tell them. He starts telling them and everything, and sucks for Eris, but he found out about his surprise party. But yeah, he found out, and according to Rudy now that he knows, he has to make sure he acts the part, so he acts so surprised for them. So he isn't, because usually according to Ruby as well, even whenever someone has birthday, he's like, oh, okay, thank you. And after seeing Eris putting all the effort, especially when they were talking, you think Ruby was gonna like this? Yes, all right, let's do it. pretty sure something hit him where he's like, you know what, I gotta at least act the part. So yeah, it's pretty cute. And after this, when he hears about Eris talking about the surprise party, she says, I feel bad that he's part of the Branch family, which now in the light novel Rudys goes into, and in the anime as well, he goes into detail about as well. We learned that Paul's full name is Paul Noto's Grey Rat, and he was basically going to be the heir to the Noto line. However, he was disowned, and his little brother, or older brother, one of those two, they became the leader of it. However, no one likes him. People are unsatisfied with him, and they're trying to see if they could replace him. However, because of that, if he finds out, the Noto guy, Paul's little brother, I forget which one he is, if he finds out about Rudy, who can be a replacement for him since he's Paul's son, he might send assassins for him after him. And that's the reason why the Boris Grey Rat family, they're trying to keep him laying low, because they don't want anything to happen. They want to be like, you know what, Rudy, you're gonna lay low, make sure no danger happens to you, nothing happens, like make sure you're safe. And it makes sense. I really agree, because he doesn't want to be the lord of it. That's too much responsibility, honestly. That's too much work. So he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it and just relax. And because of this, in this world, since there's only 3 birthdays majorly celebrated, the 5, 10, 15, to Rudy, who's like, okay, it's cool, you know, it's the 10th birthday with people I know, to the nobles like Eris, Soris, Philip, Hilda, they all feel, and the maids too, they all feel bad for him, because since he can't celebrate a big party, because it's the 10th birthday, last birthday before he becomes an adult. And before they usually make the huge party with invite guests, but since they can't, they all feel bad for him. That's what Eris remarks on. It sucks that he's part of the Branch family, because they can't celebrate they can't make a huge celebration for him. Rudy, of course, is mind. He's chilling. He's relaxing. So yeah, and everything. And let me see. Oh yeah, another funny remark that the anime skipped. Basically, even though he's gonna go act the part, he also mentioned that he's gonna go and practice his water magic to make fake tears. And as we see later on, it succeeds. It succeeds very, very well. And on the day of his birthday arrives, and basically Rudy notices, he pretends not to notice the hustle and bustle of everyone running around, making sure everything's ready. And Rudy's like, oh wow, let's see, okay, let's move on. And then Ghislaine comes to his room and asks him, hey Rudy, I want you to show me some magic. Yeah, I want you to show me some magic, please. Rudy's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. What magic do you want me to teach or show you? And she's like, oh, I want you to show me Saint class magic. This is on the line, by the way. And Rudy's like, oh, well, you know, with Saint class magic, I can't do it here. He's like, why not? Because if I do it, I might flood the city. And she's like, what? Oh my God. Then what do we do? And I was like, oh, if you want, we can go, 2 hours outside the city, to a plane. And she's like, 2 hours? That means we'll get home too late. And he's like, oh, it's fine. You're just like, no, it's fine. Ghislaine gets so flustered. And she's like, no, it's fine. We can just go somewhere else. We can do it some other weekend. Rudy's like, oh, okay. And then Rudy, that's when we get into the anime part where he talks about how, about the figure. He shows Ghislaine the figure and everything. And she's like, oh, cool, that's a figure. That's it looks so nice and everything. Ghislaine likes it in the anime a lot, but they didn't mention this, but she basically always loved the self-portraits that Eris got. So when she saw the figure itself, she was really happy with this. She saw like, wow, I got almost all the details correct without the tail, sadly. And yeah, and because of this, Rudy says, you know what? I'm gonna see how far I can take this. And then he's like, yo, Ghislaine, can I see the base of your tail? Just saying, there's a girl, no shame, but power to her. So she's best girl. She's like, okay, just takes off her pants. And I love how Rudy touches it on. You don't even hear. You just hear like you hear like he's touching stone, just knocking on a door, like oh my gosh, it's hard to steal. And light novel describes how the description of her buttocks are described to be as hard to steal, but also have the softness and the great mixture of pink and red muscles, making it the best type of ass around. Rudy's words, not mine. And after this, the maid walks in and tells him, hey, let's go to the dinner and everything. This then follows like basically with the anime where Rudy goes in, everyone's bursting in applause, saying happy birthday. Eris comes out of nowhere, gives him a bouquet, and then Rudy recites the line how you practice, and everyone stops clapping because they're like, oh my God, poor Rudy, oh my God, no. And after he starts talking about like, oh, it's because I didn't think this would happen. This scene is so funny. I'm gonna read it to you verbatim. And Paul Soros declares war. After that, he declares war, like, you know what, we're gonna kill Parliament right now. Philip, Ghislaine, Alfonso, let's go, arm the men, we're going to war. And then after this, in the light novel, it says, and thus dawned the inter-family war between the Boreas Greyrat and Noto Greyrat households. It was a bloody feud that enveloped the remaining two Greyrat branch families as well, pulling the whole of the Azura kingdom into what will become a long, drawn-out civil war. Of course not. That's just that's just Rudy like playing around. And then after that, Father Philip came over out of nowhere. You know, as usual, like in the anime, Father tackles him now. Restrain yourself, Father. Calm down. And then that's when the scene comes out where people just drag him out. I was like, he's like, let me go. We have to kill Paimon to save Rudy and make him happy. After that outburst, Eris says she's prepared a surprise for him. Eris says, okay, Grandpa, whatever. And tells, hey, Rudy, I have a surprise for you. And Rudy, she's like, okay, guess the surprise. And then we get another sad velvet, or funny moment to me, where Rudy's like, oh, did my family come and everything? Are they here? And that's when Eris is like, no, we invited them, but they couldn't. And the anime just said it because monsters, but also another reason, I don't know why they changed it, but it's okay, whatever. Basically, Paul couldn't go because monsters, and Zenth was also invited as well, but she couldn't come because the two girls were sick. Aisha and Norn were sick with fever, so of course she can't leave them both to Lydia alone. And after that, Rudy tried to sound normal. Like, he tried to say, okay, that's fine, it's alright, it's alright my family can't come. However, since he was crying, like even though he was fake crying, he still had to play crying, so he still had a nasally type of tone in his voice, so it made it sound dejected. And because of that, some of the maids were like start sniffling and everything, and then out of nowhere, Hilda, the woman that we see hating Rudius these last few episodes, just goes to him and hugs him, telling him, it's okay, Rudy, you're my son now, we're gonna adopt you, in fact we're gonna have you marry Eris. And Eris like, he's just 10. He's like, no worry, I don't care, we're gonna do it. And of course she gets dragged out as well. And Rudy, in those seconds, you see his face, he was in heaven. He was like, oh man, I'm in heaven right now. After that, we finally get to learn about the surprise that Eris got Rudy, and it is a magic staff. Pretty funny because last episode, Roxy told him, like, P.S. a magician is always known by his great staff. If I didn't cover it, apologies, but yeah, that's what she said at the end of the letter. And now he has his staff, and it looks amazing. If you want to compare, remember Roxy's staff had only the little small crystal, like around this big probably. Rudy's staff, according to the light novel, it's the size of a fist. Like just, I think it's a little bit bigger, but size of a fist, like around this big probably, like this big or so, around that size. It's I'm gonna tell you the description right now that it is high tier. Like it is a high tier staff that a kid, if Rudy stayed home, he would probably not have gotten something like this. Even with all the money he will save up, even if his parents bought, I think he would have gotten something like this. So let me describe it to you what the staff is. First, in the light novel before the next scene, Rudy also talks about what each part of staff does and what the ranking means as well. So, Rudy explains that each part of staff does and starts that rank of the staff was determined by the wood that made it up and the stone at the tip. Each type of magic had a certain affinity with different types of wood. An example being fire and earth magic being best matched with persimmon wood, a wood in that world, and water wood matching best with a pagoda wood, another wood of that world. If it exists in our world, that's pretty cool too. But even he also said even if the affinities don't match, the power won't diminish. The speed power was not diminish, so he doesn't have to worry about that. It just makes it just enhances. It doesn't make a drawback. Let me see what else. However, channeling magic through the crystal increases potency, and there were many grades of crystals with larger, more transparent crystal is more effective. So basically, what he's saying is that the bigger and more transparent a crystal is, or the more color it has, the more powerful the crystal will be. So something like what he has in his birthday, that would be a really strong crystal. So that was why it's really good. And he compares that the crystals Rudy used in making Ghislaine's and Eris wand cost 1 silver each. They're like the size of a fingertip and whatnot. However, when he looks at the crystal that was made for his staff, he assumes that it's made not just 10, 20, 50 gold coins. He assumes it's in the hundreds of gold coins. That's how not just powerful, but that's just expensive it is. So it's pretty damn cool. And we then follow the anime basically explains with each wood that and a lot of he explains that the wood that the cane is made from comes from the living elder Trant, a branch of the living elder Trant. Treant, I think it's Treant or Trent. It's a wooden monster basically, one of the strongest ones out there, and it is basically an A rank item. After that, he also describes how the crystal, the monster crystal, is from the Bargati continent, and it was from a wayward sea dragon, another A rank item, and it got brought to bear by like the Azuran Palace rod director, the guy who's in charge, the best rod maker in the entire continent. So combine all that, and this man has one of the most strongest staffs that we've seen so far, probably even stronger than Roddy, the Roxy's. So it's pretty cool, honestly. It really is. And so it's probably like after that, the Light Novel and anime followed almost exactly the same, where everyone's celebrating, having fun at the birthday party, everyone's having a good time and everything. So after that, it ends off with Saras and Hilda leaving first, Hilda giving Rudy a good night kiss, like, oh, good night, my son, and leaving and whatnot. Eris being carried off by Ghislaine because she fell asleep. She was tired after playing everything. And then we see Rudy and Philip talking. This is where we get to the portion of when Philip's drinking down there. He's drinking on his seat. And then they're talking about, like, okay, Rudy, what if he talks about, well, before that, he talks about how he asked Rudy, do you think I've ever had, like, sons? Do you wonder if Harris ever had siblings? And, like, no, Rudy asked, maybe. And that's when he tells her that basically the tradition for the Boreas part of that family is that every son born is automatically taken by the head of that family, the head. And Philip, being like from the family, he's okay with it and everything. He's okay because it's a tradition. However, Hilda, who's just a regular normal outside the family, honestly, if you got married to someone and you get told that the moment your child is born, and you before you even get to hold the child, you hold it for like maybe a few seconds, and they get to tell you, oh yeah, the child's not yours anymore, it's ours, and they get taken away, because Philip points out in the line all that now he hasn't raised those kids. Those kids don't see Hilda and him as parents. They see the head of the family as the parents now, not him. And it sucks, you know, like the kids that Hilda's child doesn't recognize her as a parent. It sucks really bad. And then he also talks about that's why Hilda didn't like Rudy at first, because anytime she sees Rudy walk around, she would think like, oh, look at this man. Why can't he walk around the place when my sons can't? That's why she was making the hatred, pointing it towards Rudy, sadly. And I'm pretty sure it hurt him, but he was like, it's fine, it makes sense. And basically, just to describe about the dispute as well, about when he said he lost a dispute succession, basically Saras had 10 sons, and only 3 of them were good enough, which were Philip, Gordon, and James. Gordon, he lost because he fell in love with someone from the Branch family. When they married, he's out of the running automatically. Philip and James were contending neck to neck. However, James had a 6-year lead. He's 6 years older, and he was a minister. He had more connections, more money. And Philip, even though he was still good, he just couldn't make up that gap. And when basically James became the lead, like he became the head of the family, and he cemented his role as the prime minister, he's done. Philip couldn't do anything about it. That's why when he had Eris, he was thinking like, okay, maybe I can do something. But then he saw that Eris was tomboy, and we know how Eris was before Rudy came. Very, very violent, to say the least. Very aggressive. And because of this as well, let me see real quick. When he saw Rudy for the first time, he assumed that Rudy was going to be like Paul. Skirt chaser, pervert. Well, he is a pervert, but even more pervert like Paul and everything. He thought it was be nothing. But then he saw Rudy's educated. Rudy doesn't talk back like in a fighting mode. Rudy understands if he tries to find solutions. And also, Rudy basically taught Eris what she needed to know. Like, that's compared to before, that's amazing. And because of this, that's why he makes the remark in the anime where he wants to like, Rudy, I want you to help me in the coup for my brother. And Rudy's like, what? Excuse me? You probably drank too much, alright? This is just a casual conversation. I'm just 10. And Phelps like, you're right. You're right. Just remember, if you ever want to, I could tie Eris up, put her on her bed, as a presentation. And we're like, yeah, okay. And then after this scene, he goes to his room. He's like, okay. And then Eris like, welcome home. He's like, yeah, welcome. He's like, thank you. I'm home. And he's like, wait a second. Eris? And that's when Eris is there, and I think that's called negligee or night lace. I don't know what it's called. And that's when that scene happens where he starts imagining like that it's like, okay, Eris. If he starts making a joke like, okay, this is probably Philip's plan. He wants her to do something so she gets pregnant, and then I have to stick with him, and then I'm stuck being the head, and then the whole plan goes through. So I'm gonna resist as much as I can. So he starts messing through like, hey Eris, if you stay here so late, I'm gonna do 9 things to you, and this is Rudy's like death claw. She's like, I don't mind if you do something little, and that's when he's like, what? And that's when he has that's like vision of him losing control. And then sadly, he did lose control. He was like, when he took off his clothes. It's cute though. Also, besides anything, it's cute that he still has the necklace that Roxy gave. He's still wearing it. I don't think he ever takes it off, but yeah, he's still wearing it. And I just want to point out, it's pretty cool. And after that, he throws the clothes around. He starts kissing her. He touches her boob, and he's like, okay. But however, when he's gonna touch, the no-no zone, she gets mad because she only said a little, hits him, slaps him, kicks him to the floor, steps on him, stomps him, and runs out. And in the light novel and anime, basically, it got his feelings through because he hated himself so much in that moment. In like the light novel and anime, like he hated himself that the girl that made the party, the girl that was worried about him being alone, the girl that basically got him a present, like staff and everything, trying to make his day the best. Even he returned those good graces by being a lustful piece of crap, and he hated himself for it. He hated himself so bad that he was so ashamed that he was just going to go pack his things up the next day and leave the next day. And he also said he was gonna die on the roadside. I don't think he was gonna die, but he said that's how bad he felt because he's like, wow, I really messed this up. I'm such a piece of crap. I have changed. He even says like I have no right to like lecture Paul. I have no right to lecture anyone. Like he thinks he's a piece of crap after that. And he was thinking, like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna pack my things, leave, go home, and just die or something. Ditch usual like 10-year-old depression phase, and everything. And as Rudy's thinking that, Eris comes back, and she's like, since it's a special day, I'm going to forgive you. Because Rudy, after seeing Eris, like, he goes on the guy's and he's like, please, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Arms spread out and everything. And she's like, I'll forgive you. And also, we can't do that at all, okay? If you do, promise me. Oh, well, she's like, I'll make a promise that we're going to do it in 5 years, okay? When you're an adult and we're all older, that's when we're going to do it, okay? If anything, I forgive you, okay? And good night. And she runs away. Everybody's like, wait a second. She forgives me? And he was celebrating. He's like, wait, I got a promise. And of course, he's happy. He might lose his V card in 5 years. So yeah, and he also thinking like, okay, now no temptations whatsoever. I'm going to be so focused these next 5 years no matter what. And then he realized like, wait, 5 years. Royal Kingdom. University. Selfie. No! And it doesn't change much in the light novel. He still panics in the light novel like, oh crap. And he wakes up the next morning with crusty underwear. He's like, now I'm gonna never be given to temptation. Because it seems he reached the A button too quickly. And after that, we get an Eris update. One of the last ones actually in this entire novel, since right after this is just the part in the anime where it goes down. So we have her name, Eris B. Greyrat. Occupation, granddaughter of the Vittora's liege lord. Personality, sometimes violent, sometimes meek, depending on the situation. Does listen properly, reading and writing almost perfect. Arithmetic, capable of doing division. Magic, can't do any spells without changing them. Intermediate tier spells are also a challenge. She actually can do it anyways, it's really good. Fencing, sword guard style, advanced tier. Etiquette, currently studying difficult imperial court etiquette. People she likes, Grandfather and Ghislaine. Cool. However, there's one more line now. Person she loves, Rudys. It's so cute. And the next part in the line now we get to the part where In the anime, I think it went basically the portion where Roxy's at the Shinra Kingdom. In the light novel, we talk about how Roxy's there looking out the window and she sees the weird sky, and the lights are shining and everything. That she reminisces how like the lights that it shows are similar to the summoning magic lights that were in the when she was in university. And that's when then she sees that's in the direction of the Asura Kingdom where Rudy says, and she is assuming, and the line she describes how she's assuming Rudy is probably doing it because he since he said he didn't know anything about like summoning magic, she's assuming that maybe he might have learned something and that's him. But also like she's like, what's happening? Then we get this. Then in the line describes how the sun brings out of nowhere, starts like trying to grope Roxy. Roxy sets him on fire again, and he's like, if you don't tell me, if you don't let me, have sex with you. He's a piece of crap, guys. Like, he's trash. If you don't let me have sex with you, I'm gonna cut down the man and kill him. The man your lover who's in these letters. And he's like, oh, Roxy's like, oh, okay. Well, good luck with that. And the Shinra Prince's like, what do you mean good luck? I'm gonna kill him. He's like, nah, I don't think you can. He's like, what? I'm a prince. What is he? He's like, he's part of he's with a noble family, the Boris noble family. Of noble family opposing a royalty? That's impossible. And then Roxy's like, yeah, this guy's stupid. Because the Boris noble family are one of the 4 elite families that are military families of the Asura Kingdom. Yeah, you can't go up against them. And that shows how dumb this guy is. And he says, okay, I'll assassinate him in secret. And it's like, first off, Rudy's being guarded not just by the family, but also king rank swordsman. One of the top 4 swordsmen, Ghislaine. So I don't think you can do anything there. Also, I'm out. Peace. And it wasn't like that, but she says she's quitting because she doesn't want to anymore. At first she was thinking of extending her contract, but after the princess got conceited and started being crappy, yeah, he became something not even worth teaching. So she's like, yeah, I'm out. I'm gonna go see if I can see Rudys again and everything. So Roxy then leaves the palace, and the prince tried to have her arrested, but the king said no. In fact, the king actually got pissed at him and said, how could you lose us a king tier water magician? And like Paul said earlier in the series, he could count the amount of king tier magicians in the world with like the fingers of his hand. That's how rare and powerful Roxy's rank is, and the fact that the kingdom lost it, yeah, it sucks. After this, I'm gonna say the name of the guy we meet because I should. We got the name as everyone else. I think we got the name too, but it might have disappeared. I might have blinked and missed it. But we get to meet Dragon God Orsted, and it goes like the anime, where he's there on it doesn't grab where he is in the anime, but he's in the Red Worm Mountains, and he's just walking, vibing. That's when a red worm comes out of nowhere and attacks him. In the light novel, one of them attacks and he just snaps his fingers. They're dead. He doesn't actually do it, but that's how quickly they get destroyed. And according to the line novel, the red worms are basically red worms. I think that's how it's called. They're basically one of the most fearsome monsters out there. They're A rank monsters that anyone would not want to fight whatsoever. And the fact that he just kills them easily, we saw him do a fire breath on Orsted, and he's just like, "Is that it?" And then then runs away, and that's it for Orsted. After this, we get to meet the great Demon Emperor of the Demon Kingdom, Kishirisu, and we don't know much about her. I'm just gonna say a little bit about what happened in the light novel. So basically, she just revived and is lonely, as sad as that sounds. So the way she's lonely is because when she got revived, she went to the city in the Demon Kingdom. She's like, I have revived everyone, praise me, I'm here. And everyone's just like, okay, little girl. And we saw how she looked. She looked like a little girl. Someone's like, okay, little girl, shoo. And even when she went to her close comrade, the comrade's like, we're made peace with humans, so just keep quiet and keep peaceful. And she was like, okay, why can't anyone praise me? Make a parade because I'm back. I'm a great demon lord. I'm a great demon lord. Demon Emperor, come on, everybody. And then that's when she also looks at the mana, because even though she's on the Demon Continent, which is, I'll show right now the world map, which is like on the other side of the world, and Azure Kingdom is on the other side of the world, like just two complete opposite parts of the world, with her demon eyes, because she's also known as the 10 demon eyes, the great emperor of the demon eyes. She's able to see mana, and usually she's also able to see who's using the mana. However, this time, like she's in the anime, aren't you just shy? because she can't see who's using it. She can only see that there's mana gathering, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool, in fact. After this, let me see real quick. We get to the scene of Armored Dragon Perugius telling Armanafi to slay whatever is causing the mana disturbance because it is getting out of hand. Even though it sounds like a summoning, he's assuming this might be the revival of Lapis. He's assuming this might be the Great Demon Emperor's revival, but he doesn't know. He just doesn't know because it's just so out of the ordinary. So he's like, hey, go kill whatever's down there causing this. And Armanafi, of course, is like, okay, let's do it. After this, we get to the part in the anime where basically Rudius, Gillian, and Eris are on the hilltop. Rudius is finally gonna show his Saint class magic, his Columnimbus. I think I got it right. And it's pretty. This is where things go down, because as he's talking about, okay, let me show you what a Saint class magician can do, he sees that the magic of the staff makes it so easier to use magic. Like, and he put it into numbers how basically the mana consumption went from like 20, like let's say 20 mana consumption, down to like 5 to a point after he fine-tuned it even more. And that's just, he can just save so much mana with that and give it so much more power too. So he's about to do the magic spell. However, all of the clouds became weird. They're all swirling and everything. And then that's when Ghislaine takes out her eye patch and reveals her demon eye and sees that the mana is just swirling everywhere. And says, all right, you know, we should get away from here. We have to leave, get further distance. And that's when in the line out, Rudy's like, oh, wait, we have to warn Philip and everyone to get them sent. And then Ghislaine's like, yeah, you're right. We had to warn them. So you guys stay here, and and then that's when she tells Rudy, Doc, and the knife comes out of nowhere. And Armafi comes, Ghislaine's fighting him and whatnot. It follows exactly the same way, where she tells him, I am one of the sword god Galfarian's apprentices, or like students. I am a sword king. Trust me that this kid did not cause this. And Armafi's like, okay. And no apologies, like, it's not my problem. You guys were being suspicious. And then that's when we get the mana explosion. First part, Amafi just says, yeet, I'm out. I'm out this place. And then the mana explosion happens and starts engulfing all of the Azura Kingdom. And we see Ghislaine disappear. We see Eris fall down, and then Rudy's like, Eris, goes and shields her. They disappear and everything. And let me see. Let me see real quick. And yeah, it engulfs the entirety of the Roa Kingdom. Like everything. The Azura Kingdom, everything. And like the episode name is, this is indeed a turning point, because in my opinion, this is where the story begins. Like, up until now, if you watch Vinland Saga, it's something similar, where we had the entire first arc and everything, of everyone learning about the characters and Thorfinn and everything, having the death of Aslan, and then that's just part 1. And this is, in my opinion, this is similar, because we have everything. We have him learning magic, being with Eris, his birthday, everyone's having a good time, and this happens. We just basically, in my opinion, we finished part 1. And this is when the next chapter opens up. Not arc, because this will be it's gonna be amazing. That's all I'm gonna say. It's gonna in my opinion, this story after from now on is gonna put Mushoku Tensei on the map as one of the greatest anime isekais out there, because it's considered the grandfather isekai, the skeleton of the isekai, because just everything that happens after this point is just so good. And I am so excited for what happens next. I really, really am. And they got that scene perfectly. When Ghislaine was running, Eris like knees buckling, her falling down, really protecting her, everything just appearing. It's so good. And that basically covers the entire last portion of the Night Novel of Volume 2. I'm not gonna cover the epilogue yet, just in case they cover it like the next step in the next episode, because in the first line, they did cover some of it with the beginning of the portion of the story when Rudy went to Eris's house for the first time. So let's leave it be. If they don't cover next episode, then I'll just cover it myself, just to let you guys know what happens. And yeah, that was Mushoku Tensei episode 8, and I loved it. I am so excited to see what happens next. I'm really, really am. The voice acting is great. Kirishia, she's so funny and so sad. She's running. She was walking in the desert. It was so funny. And then we got Dragon God Orfstead. You don't know how much I love his voice actor. It's so good, so good. Such a fit for such a great character. We also got Perugius as well, the armored dragon. So he's not a myth, everybody. He's real. And yeah, we meet a bunch of characters at the end of the story, and that's the end of this part. I am so excited for what happens next, like I said earlier, and yeah. So if you like the video, want to watch more, subscribe. I'll be uploading them as fast as I can. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you want to talk about anything, comment down below. Be sure to respond to everything I can as fast as I can as well. And yeah, for anything else, that will be it. This was Zero Senpai. I hope everyone has a great day. See ya.